Hi everyone, let's get started with the Salesforce introduction and future prospect session. I first welcome you all to this wonderful journey of knowing what Salesforce is and what does it really hold in for all of you. Okay, so here comes a little bit of brief about me as you see on the screen, and then we talk about our keynote from so basically change is the only constant which is there, and talking about the latest things is what is the trend. Okay, so let's get before we actually jump into what Salesforce is all about, let us first understand what CRM is all about. So there's a small video that I would like to share with you. Let's go through this, and kind of it gives us an intro on what really CRM means.
This online software is revolutionizing the way businesses are making sales. Having to manually keep track of your customers and leads takes time and effort, and is very hard to do accurately. Now, there's a better way. Businesses worldwide are using CRM software to keep track of their customers' details and get the most out of their sales leads. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, and it does what it says on the tin, helping you manage all your relationships with your customers from one place. It's savvy software that puts data about all your communication at your fingertips. Deals, leads, calls, the lot. Could your business benefit from a CRM system? Almost certainly. Find out how by clicking below. Or maybe you're still wondering if it's right for you. A CRM system empowers you as a business owner to keep track of where your customers are in the journey from prospect all the way to regular buyer. It lets you tailor every interaction and personalize each part of the process. You can integrate CRM software with your phone system, social media, email, and website. Schedule marketing emails, follow up missed calls, and see who's interacting with your business online, all in one place. And the best part, you can do it from anywhere using just your phone, tablet, or desktop computer. All this for less than the price of a phone contract. In fact, as many as 91% of businesses with over 11 employees are already using CRM software to their advantage. The only question you'll ask is, why didn't I do this sooner? Don't be part of the 9% of businesses that are getting left behind. Go ahead and click the button below to find out if you're eligible today.
All right, so that was all about, in a very short stint, about what CRM is. So CRM is your customer relationship management, which actually helps you manage all your relations with the customer. I'm reiterating what he said in the video, because that's the crux of the system today, and that's the crux of the whole businesses today that are there, right? So be it a small milkman, or a milk company, or be it a large telco, be it a large broadband organization, broadband selling company, or be it any high-tech company like Cisco or VMware for that matter. So all these organizations cannot really cater to their customers without having a CRM in place. Okay, and I'm very proud to say that in some capacity or the other, all of these organizations use Salesforce to their benefits. All right. So as we move on, I would like to give you a small use case so that you all understand that why Salesforce is needed, or say why a CRM system is needed, and where all does it fit into a day-to-day life of each one of us. Okay, so for example, you want to buy a broadband connection, right? I think the latest one that is very hit in the market these days is the Geo Fiber connection, right? So what do you do with that? Either one of the salesperson contacts you, sir, there is a Geo Fiber connection available in your area, in your society. Do you want to have a connection enabled for you? You'll say yes or no, or probably you might be looking for something else. So you may kind of say, connect with an Airtel broadband guy or any of the other fiber connections which are available in your area, right? So what would you do? You would call, I mean, you would either speak to one of their sales agents on the phone, on their call center, or you would go to their websites to browse along and inquire about it, right? So what does that really do in the system? That creates a lead out of it. So that's an inquiry or a lead that gets created. So there is a lead generation and you become the prospect of that company. Okay. So let's stick to the geofiber example now from the latest one. So you become a prospect to geofiber and they will start contacting you and they will kind of say, try to tell you about their plans to convince you so that you, and if you show kind of an interest and you will, then you become an opportunity for them. So where they see that there is more potential to grow and you become their potential customer. So that becomes the opportunity. All right. And as you go ahead with your more understanding about geofiber, you kind of select or understand their plans and you then you decide that, okay, these plans look okay to me. Say, for example, I have to pay around 1500 Mbps for a 100 GB download speed for a month, or 100 GB download uh, overall data package for them. So you kind of go ahead with them and tell that, yes, I want to select this particular plan, and let's kind of get started. So they will add a product to it as your broadband plan and a router attached to it. And once you make a payment, or say once you agree with them on the terms and conditions, they create an order around it. Okay. So you get an order number on your cell phone, probably the point of contact that you have given, or on your email, right? So exactly all these things actually, from this process to this process, actually happens within CRM. Your data is getting hold in the CRM, and therein you are able to track what you are actually buying, right, with the order number which is there and the payment that you've made against it, right, with your invoice and stuff. So from here to here, it is all part of the sales system within CRM, or as we fondly call it sales cloud in Salesforce. Okay. Once you have your order ready, the geofiber guys actually come to your home, they do the installation, and within, say, an hour's time maximum, you get activated on that, isn't it? So that's where actually the activation happens, and these things actually may or may not be tracked in CRM. However, for our convenience, let's say you get an activation status around the order, again, intimated through a phone, through your SMS or email, right? Post the activation and that your billing gets started. So there is a billing system normally where your billing happens. It is not done in CRM. So once that gets started, and say, for example, after about a month or so, you face an issue that your speed has gone down, right? You are not getting 100 Mbps speed. You are just getting a 20 Mbps speed there, right? So what do? You again call back to them, or you email it to them that there is an issue with your download speed and you want that to be corrected. So all those requests are actually catered as service requests. Okay, so your trouble ticketing is done, and you get a service request number, which is actually called as a case number in the system, and you can track your issue against that particular case number, right? So this is actually part of your service cloud in Salesforce, and or say service area of your CRM application. And then as a regular check, you may want to actually have views around the billing and the usage which is happening, right? So, I'll just take another example connected to GeoFiber. So you have two families living nearby, right? So you have yourself and probably your cousin who is who just stays next doors, right? So you buy a plan wherein you are able to cater to your family as well, right? So that also is possible in Salesforce or CRM to be tracked, but you want to have a view on the billing usage, right? So again, that you can see and fetch it from the systems and be able to view it on the CRM applications. So that's kind of a utility or a use case in our day-to-day lives that we really deal with. There are like innumerous examples that I can quote here. So it's not about managing just a retail customer like you and me. It also helps managers a lot of B2B connections, or say business to business connections, and manage the customers for the business to business connections. Okay, so their examples could be Accenture or TCS or Wipro. They have their phone lines connected, right? Within they have, another example is that they use Microsoft Office 365, right? So again, they are a customer to Microsoft. However, in that scenario, they are actually, their customer relationships are also being managed by these CRM systems, and Microsoft would use again one of those CRM applications to manage their own customers. So those are like B2B connections and B2B scenarios which are actually managed using the CRM application. Okay, I hope it's like more relatable at the moment. Yeah. All right, so let's.
Manika, just before that, like, hi, we have got a lot of new learners joining in. Request you to add the college name for our tracking. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Manika. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so as we just spoke about a business scenario, right, wherein we saw that there is a sales pitch which is being made by a sales agent. At the same time, you're able to raise service requests, and also those are like different areas of specialization within Salesforce. And Salesforce as a CRM actually holds a lot of potential within that. Okay, so just to tell you, a very interesting story when actually Salesforce started off way back in early 2000s, right? So that time, the market was actually booming with a lot of on-premise applications. So when I say on-premise applications, those are basically applications wherein you have to buy an infrastructure. Okay, so when you actually buy an infrastructure, you would be buying servers, you would be buying databases, and you would be hosting your application on those servers, connecting to the databases, managing and maintaining your database. So archiving your database is like one of those key issues which you have. Then the server downtime which happens when you upgrade your application, right? So those kind of things actually are a lot more hustle bustle, or say needs a lot of operation cost there, right? So you have to kind of say keep a reserve of your capital from your organization to manage all these on-prem applications. When we move from those, and at that point in time, there was this Salesforce which had pitched in with their new concept around cloud computing and pay as you go, right? So all they needed was that they claimed was that you just buy 10 licenses if you need 10 users to use your application, and later in an year or in 2 years, when you grow from 10 to 200, you can buy that many licenses, the delta licenses again. So you don't need to pay for all 200 licenses at the first place, right? And we upgrade your resources accordingly, and we'll provide you all the scalability around that. Okay, so that's where actually Salesforce started pitching in, and it slowly, gradually took over now. So almost like 10, 11, 12 years down the line, we are at a stage where Salesforce, or say for that matter, any cloud computing application, is one of those like most hit applications or most usable applications in the world, right? So all those on-premise applications have actually lost their glory, and it's used in only cases where there are some typical regulatory requirements of any country where they don't want their data to go out of their country, right? So the way Salesforce works is basically they have their data centers placed in multiple countries, like they have it in UK, they have it in Singapore, they have it in US. So they are able to cater throughout the world with those. You don't have to buy any database, you don't have to buy any server for using Salesforce. It's available freely over the internet for your utility purpose. So today you have 5 employees, tomorrow you have 500 employees or 500 customers, or 5 million customers. You are able to cater it all over the um, internet. You don't need any software to actually use that. So it's a, initially it was actually called as a no software application. So if you search over the web, you would find that there is a logo with no and a cross over it. So that was where Salesforce had started off with, right? So as you can see on the slide that I have mentioned, that it's a single source of truth. So for your sales, for your service, for your marketing, for any customer, for managing your partners, everything is available within one place, and you can build hundreds of views of around it, right? It's actually scalable and flexible to any limit. So from, as I said, from 5 users to 5 million users, you can have onboard any number of people. And the other best thing about it is that it's a very low uh, customizable application. I mean, it's a very low maintainable system where you have most of the things you can achieve from configuration. And if there are something specifics that you want to cater out, you can do small customizations to actually manage those. Okay. And the length and breadth of the system allows you to actually manage your sales, manage your services, manage your marketing and promotions, and something like commerce as well, wherein you have things like Amazon or eBay, right? So Salesforce also offers the e-commerce applications, right? And then it has its own integration layer with which you can actually integrate with any of those downstream systems very easily with the help of web services and all. And you can also manage your franchisees and manage your own partners through Salesforce. And you can also provide self-service to your customers, wherein, say, for example, you might, I mean, if you're using a Vodafone um, or an Airtel connection, right? Or say even a Geo connection. So you have applications like My Geo, My Vodafone, My Airtel on your phones, right? So those are nothing but your customer self-care applications. So that also is available with Salesforce. And just like you have a Google Play Store or you have a Apple Play Store, right? So there, Salesforce also has its own marketplace, which is called as App Exchange, where actually there are some ready tools which are available, which if you don't have to develop, or if you don't want to build that functionality, you can go and plug and play those applications and start using them. So, I mean, actually, App Exchange is like another interesting area where mostly the developers have a huge playground, right? So you have an idea, you want to build something, you think that that is not being catered from Salesforce or any other CRM application, you can build a custom application of yours and you can host it on AppExchange, which can be like sellable to others, just like you have Android apps on Play Store. All right, so that's the potential of Salesforce, and that's the different ecosystem. I mean, that's the overall ecosystem of Salesforce, which is available. All right, so let's go to the area of interest for you. Okay, why should actually Salesforce need developers? I mean, why should a technology like Salesforce need developers when it is it's a largely configurable system? What does it really have in store for you as a, for your purpose of building your career into that, right? And why should you learn Salesforce? So as I said, right, so I mean, before getting into those career paths within Salesforce, I would like to actually go through this. This basically shows us that how Salesforce has different layers or say different capability areas which are actually catered to, and where do you actually fit in as a developer, right? So there are what do you call it? There are core capabilities of Salesforce which is actually available when you buy a single license of Salesforce, right? So there is a whole set of configurable data tables which are available, which you can use as is. Just configure them for your needs. For example, there are 10 fields on an object or say on a table that you may want to use for your application, but there are only 5 available in Salesforce. So you can just go click, point and click configure, and you can start using that. Okay. And you can also define like a lot of workflows and approvals processes around there. You can automate your stuff that, for example, if there is a opportunity which has a value of about 1 million, but for progressing it from stage 1 to stage 2, you need a manager's approval on that, right? So you can automate that process using your approval workflows, and that actually is all about Salesforce, where you can do it with just point and click. Okay, so that's where actually the configurations come in. But then at the same time, you find that just that, a standard configuration will not work for it. You need to do a call out to a third party system. So in that case, you may have to write a custom class to actually call that particular remote API or a remote web service, right? So for that, you can do a piece of customization. You can write a class and call it right from your process. All right. So that basically is the customization bit of it. Or you can build a fancy UI for your customers. So that is again another piece of customization that you may be adding to it. So that is where actually the developers come in, the administrators come in. All right. So any sort of configurations, I would say, can be managed by administrator to a large extent once the system is up and ready for the use. And any sort of customizations need developer intervention to be able to build fancy UIs, to do some complex process callouts, or do some complex integrations with the downstream systems. Okay. And the way that your I would say the way that your application is kind of split, it actually provides plethora of opportunities for you to be selective about your choice and your interest of work. Okay, and then specialize into that. And that is where you as a developer or you as a learner of the technology will actually gain interest and gain and be able to work in that, right? So if you see this diagram closely, it tells us that Salesforce is actually available through so many methods of usage, right? So you have a mobile, you have a chat, you have a UI, you have a community, you have a commerce platform, or you have a web-based view, you have a mobile-based view, all right? So all those things are possible. There are n number of developer tools which are there, which are available for you to be able to build your application as per your customer or the client needs, all right? And there is a distribution of technologies through different things, like on the app exchange, then you have the managed packages that you can build, and you can say kind of say close you can build a managed package which is kind of a closed set of functionalities packaged into a as a solution, and you can kind of say start using them across your organization. Okay, then you have core capabilities, as I just explained, around, for example, the configurations or the search engine or the workflows, that automations that you can build. And at the bottom, I would say that there is an infrastructure which is truly trusted and built by Salesforce. There's absolutely negligible downtime that Salesforce offers. So there are 3 releases which actually Salesforce has across the year. So that's called as spring, summer, and winter. So these are 3 releases which Salesforce provides, and there is absolutely negligible downtime. And that too is kind of say covered across different zones. So you won't really feel that there was an actual downtime. All right, so that's what the length and breadth of Salesforce which it holds, and that's where the potential comes in. Okay, so now I'll step into the career paths that are available for Salesforce. All right, so these are, as you see here, right? So you can grow as an administrator, okay, where if you're not interested much into coding and all, you can just be an administrator by doing point and click configurations and managing the users and things like that. Okay, so I mean, I have listed a few of these certifications here. There are many more certifications which you can see on their website, but I mean, these are some of those key ones which actually you get started with, right? So you can grow as a Salesforce administrator purely. You can shift from Salesforce administrator to a consultant. So if you are much interested into Sales Cloud, okay, so you can specialize only into Sales Cloud. By moving ahead after administration, you can do a Sales Cloud consultant exam. And actually, I mean, not just exam, but you can excel into Sales Cloud actually by practicing more, by learning more around it, and be able to do a situational based configurations around it. Okay. Similarly, as a developer, Salesforce, as I told you, it offers a huge set of developer tools around here. So you can become a developer. You can start specializing into it by learning the Apex code, by learning the Lightning Web components, and with a mix of coding and configuration, you will be able to develop and build your force.com applications. Okay, and then you can specialize again in those with certain set of certifications which are there, right? So the basic ones that Salesforce offers is the platform developer 1, and then the next level is platform developer 2. And if you're more on the UI side, you can go for a JavaScript developer certification. Okay. And then as you want to specialize, if you are into marketing cloud, you can go for a marketing studio developer. If you are into Salesforce industries, you can get into the Omni Studio part of it. And I mean, yes. So again, Salesforce, from Salesforce marketer perspective, if you want to become a marketing manager, right? So as a marketing manager, sending promotions or capturing a large subscriber base is like one of those key areas, right? So With that, you can send out spam emails, or you can send out promotional offers and things like that using Salesforce marketing tools, Salesforce marketing cloud itself, or Pardot, right? So there are again streams of specializing into that. So you can get into that. And over and above all of these, if you are very keen into becoming an architect, right? So you can actually choose the path of Salesforce architect. And when I say that, it's not an easy path, but it's achievable and it's very interesting path. So when you are actually doing bits and pieces of development, and then you start gradually graduating around the architect path. So you become a system architect, you can become a solution architect, and you can become an application architect. And then the final thing would be achieving a CTA track. I mean, you become a technical architect. So that's the topmost career option, or so that's basically the topmost thing that you get from Salesforce. That's the topmost credential that you get from the Salesforce. Okay. So those are the different career paths that you can choose within Salesforce. And as you see here, I mean, these are the different areas which you can specialize in. So it's not necessary that if you're good at Sales Cloud, you may also be good at Service Cloud. It's up to you how you want to choose this, how you want to move ahead. All right. Right. So I think this is one of those interesting things that you may want to have a look at, right? So Salesforce has a lot of potential in it, and it actually promises around 4.2 million jobs to be created worldwide by 2024. And alone within that, I mean, there are in APAC, if you see, they promise around 7,99,000 jobs. Out of that, I think in India, there are close to 4 lakh jobs that they promise to build by 2024. So that's the kind of potential which Salesforce has, because I mean, as my personal experience, I mean, I thought that there would be a dip when this pandemic started for Salesforce, for CRM. However, it was actually other way around. We thought that we would not get as many deals as we used to get earlier, but it actually turned around the game, because Salesforce number one came up with its reliability, the backup plan that it has. So working in distress times and be able to cater to the n number of customers, Salesforce became a platform of choice in last 1.5 years, to an extent that we had like 3 or 4 deals to close in a week at, I mean, for per person. So there are like around 60 solution architects who are working from one organization. Imagine if you multiply it across different organizations. Okay. So that's what Salesforce holds in for you. It's, yes, the world number one CRM is the most wanted technology. Okay, so I think this pack, I think we should give some time out here, wherein I want to tell you about what Forceark offers you as a training plan. So if you join us as a trainee right here, we offer you a free 8 weeks training, which comprises of these skills, or say wherein we are able to we'll take some baby steps right from the introduction to Salesforce and CRM, and be able to fly out with understanding around the overall Salesforce ecosystem, and be able to choose that what kind of certifications we can go through it, right? So that's an 8-week plan that you see on the screen. And this actually comes with uh, 1.5 hours of weekly instructor-led training. It may be me, or it may be my solution architects, or say co-architects who are specialized into some of those areas, and they will pick up your trainings. Okay, so you get 1.5 hours of weekly instructor-led training, and then you have to put in, I expect that you put in at least 8 to 10 hours of weekly self-study, wherein you would, we'll provide you with the relevant study material around that, and you can do a hands-on on that. And then, we'll also enable with you the Salesforce learning platform, which is the Trailhead module of Salesforce, uh, from Forceark perspective. And then you will be able to learn and come back. You have to come back to me at the end of every week with what you have done. And by the time we reach week 7, right, so we'll actually go into some sort of demos that you have actually built through your hands-on exercises during the previous 6 weeks, which will be followed by an assessment. All right. And I would also have some additional hands-on doubts clearing session for you arranged, so that while you're doing your hands-on exercises, if there is some doubt that you come to, or if something that you're not able to achieve at, we'll go through it and we'll cater to those queries. All right. And at the end of this 8 weeks training, you get a completion certificate from Forceark Consulting. There's more to it actually. So at the end of this 8 weeks training, based on the performance that we see from the demos and the assessments that we conduct for you guys, you will be offered an internship, which could last 3 months to 6 months, depending on your availability and our needs. And at the end of that internship, you get a completion certificate for the successful completion of the internship. And you may also get stipend based on the performance of during your course of internship. And then post completion of internship, we would offer you, we might offer you some placements, or say placements with us, or placements with our clients, or placements with our trusted partners. All right, so that's what we hold in place for you from Forceark Consulting. All right, I think we are end of it. I would request Mr. Anuj, who is my co-founder, if you have anything to add on. Otherwise, we'll move on to the questionnaire session.
Thank you, Manika. I think you've already covered everything that we wanted to convey here. So that's fine. I think we can have the Q&A first. Yeah. Anyone has any question, please feel free to ask.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi, Abhishek.
Yeah, ma'am. What will be your internship selection guidelines?
So as I said, based on the assessment that we would conduct here post your 8 weeks completion of the training, right? So based on that, we'll offer you an internship.
So yeah, it depends on like how much you have gathered knowledge around the Salesforce, like how many components you are able to understand. Like the training methodology that we have picked up is like 8 hours, but like if you can spend more time on it, like this will give you a good background about Salesforce, and like it will make you a future ready. And what I've seen is during the training sessions or the projects that we built in our colleges are mostly related to Java, Python technologies, or around the buzzwords like AI, ML. But like this is totally a different application that is available, the cloud-based application, and there is a huge demand of this. So in future, yeah, this will be a future. Future will be based on these kinds of things that will like give you a good exposure, and you can build your own projects using this platform.
So is this 8-week program open to all?
Yeah, it's open to all.
Okay, ma'am.
But there'll be a registration that we'll do for it, and based on that, we'll proceed with the training.
Ma'am, when will this 8-week training start? Means when are you planning to conduct this 8-week training, and then the internship will follow?
So we plan to start it, I think, from June 1st week. And we'll probably get back to you with the communication around that on the mails that we send out, right? So you'll be informed well ahead of that. Okay, any other questions, guys?
Ma'am, what are the prerequisites for this training, ma'am?
There are no prerequisites, just that we need your dedication and devotion to be able to complete this training.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
And ma'am, is this open to all colleges or just MIT and JSPMC?
Yeah, it's open to all colleges, and based on the registrations we receive, we'll form the batches and work through it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Otherwise, we'll just proceed with a quick photo session. Yeah, Jaya.
Right. So you said the training program is for 8 weeks. So how many hours per week?
Sorry, you were breaking up. Can you please repeat your question?
So you said the training program is for 8 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many hours per week are we expected to undergo?
Yeah. So that's what I said. So it will be 1.5 hours of weekly instructor-led training. So from our team, we'll have 1.5 hours of instructor-based time, and rest is up to you how much time you want to spend on the system to be able to achieve the weekly thing, right? So minimum, I expect that 8 to 10 hours is what you would need. Rest is up to you how much you want to spend on that.
All right, thank you.
Ma'am, how you will be able means convey the registration link? Do we get mail or some? How's that process gonna take place?
Yes. You will get the email through us, the way that we share the Zoom link with you, or else we'll connect with you through your college. That's also okay.
Or also I think everyone is aware about the LinkedIn company profile. You can drop in our comments and we can get in touch with you guys, and and also we'll be sharing a Google form. Maybe you can fill it, and so we know your interest, and accordingly we'll connect back. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
How will be the assessment?
So assessment will be online through again, some portal through either Microsoft Teams or Google. It will be an MCQ actually. Don't worry about that. So, and some weightage will also be there on the demos that you actually share. So it's a combination of MCQs and demos.
Regarding registrations, the earlier link which you shared, so it was for this Zoom meeting or for your 8-week plan. So those who are already registered, should they register again?
Yes, the registration would be a fairly simple form that we'll share. The earlier one was for the training session, for this intro session actually. So
okay.
Okay, I think Anuj, let's go for a quick photo session. I'll stop sharing. Please switch on your camera, and thank you everyone for the session here. We'll stay in touch, we'll stay connected, and let's rock and let's get the best out of Salesforce. All the best to all of you, all the students here from Forceark Consulting. Thank you so much for joining us.